So another 2 points. One, I have a hard stop at 12:30 today because I need to do a transit to a different state. And second, the lab.netmolan.com, that lab, I'm not able to log in. It says you don't have an account. So do I need to create an account, or has to be created by you guys and then give me a password?
Right. You need to do something by yourself. Then I need to do something by here also. Okay, and then your lab would be ready.
I have registered, I think, but yeah, you said you will do it, right, Ravi?
That's true. That's true. We will be doing something from the backend as well, so that you can have the proper access.
Okay, so first we have to register, and then because she shared some passwords, I was confused that already she shared a password, then why to register? Fine, I'll register myself then. Yep.
Right. It's all right. It's all right. So you can use those credentials. So we are waiting for one more guy. Maybe he's in some activity or something. Okay. So any doubts from the previous classes?
No, I don't have.
Okay, that's good. Kaza, do you have some doubts?
No, man. As of now, no.
That's great. That's good. Okay. So before going ahead, maybe I would like to say that it is good to revise something. Maybe someone can tell me what is OMP? We talked about OMP.
It's a overlay management protocol, which basically runs as an overlay between vSmart and the edges.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Wrong.
No, that's true. That's true. Okay. What is OMP peer?
OMP peer are basically your edges only, right?
So if it is my WAN edge device, okay. And
So that will be your loopback IP or whatever you mentioned. That one correct or wrong?
Not completely correct, but it's all right.
System IP. System IP is what you are saying, right?
Okay. So OMP peer, maybe I will revise again. Okay. What are the three types of root of OMP? Hey Munir, thanks for joining in. So have you gone through the videos?
Hi guys. Honestly, to be honest, I couldn't find much time since I had a long trip these days. So I was not sure about the class that it starts at since times and days are different from here. Zoya informed me about it. Actually, I didn't go, so I try to go these days. Sorry for that.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. It's all right. We are in the starting classes, so it happens because we are in the revision state also. So you will get revised. That's all right. Okay, what are the three routes? Anyone? OMP, we talked about three routes, right?
System IP?
No.
What is that? OMP routes.
OMP, yeah. There are three type of routes in OMP. What are those? Okay, what you were talking about is the minimal configuration or the boot.
Minimal configuration.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are those parts? Maybe let us cover that too.
Yeah, that is system IP, TLOC.
System IP, not
Organization.
Organization name, yeah.
Yeah, TLOCs and
vboot. Not TLOC. It would
system
be
ID.
Color code.
Color, yeah.
Site ID, okay.
Site ID.
And your
and vBond.
Okay. Perfectly fine. So in case of your controllers, which one of these component is not required? Any one is not required in case of your controller. This which I am talking about is required for your WAN edge devices, but not for your controller. What is the one component that can be eliminated from this list?
vBond?
No.
vBond is needed. I think rest system IP is needed. Rest can be eliminated, I think.
Only color. Okay. You can remove the color part, which can be added into your WAN edge devices when you are putting your WAN edge devices. Okay. Rest all of things, four things are mandatory. Optional is your host name. Okay. What we were using the host name. Okay, maybe what is the significance of color, by the way, guys?
To identify the route, whether it is learned from MPLS or internet,
So
right?
color is nothing, but color is a tag. You can say it's an abstraction. Okay. So like Kaza is saying, if you have the internet, if you have the MPLS, we can give some different colors. It is not bit like that over the internet you need to give only internet only. You can use gold as an internet as a standardization of your environment. So it decrease the complexity. Later on, we will be talking about those. Okay. But before going ahead, maybe one more question for you guys. What kind of certificates we need to, why the certificate need to be installed, first of all? Why certificate?
For
Why
authenticating the device
with whom?
with vBond or with your AD.
Okay, partial correct.
You wrote the root certificate.
So how many type of certificates are there?
The two types.
What are those?
One is this root certificate, CA,
Okay.
right? And the other one is identity, identity certificate.
Okay. Why root is required?
To get it authenticated with your AD, to for your vManage.
So one thing I am not able to understand, why you guys are using AD again and again, but AD I have never used AD term.
No, I mean to say, like in the normal setup, we use the certificate authority as AD only, right? In real time. So that's why I'm using AD basically. But you can use it from even external CA also. It doesn't matter, right?
Right. Okay, guys. So I could see that yes, there is little bit confusions in our previous classes also. So first of all, I would like to give you an overview about the OMP, because OMP we have a many things. Maybe I could take one class for OMP, but it's all right. Let us complete into this class only. Okay, we will not take further sessions. OMP is very much important, and when we are going forth for our data plane connection to be make up, OMP will be required in that scenario. Okay, because OMP will be used where someone. So if these are our WAN edge devices, maybe vEdge, you can say 1, this is vEdge 2, and this is my cloud. Okay, any of the cloud service, and this is my vSmart. Okay, this is my vBond, and this is my vManage. Okay, so where the OMP will come? Anybody will tell me?
Between vSmart and
vSmart, vBond, vManage.
vSmart and
vSmart and
vEdge.
so OMP will be only working between vSmart and vEdge. That one thing you should be clear. Second thing, so one thing you are saying WAN edge, maybe you can say WAN edges and the vSmart OMP will be working. And second thing, it will also work if you have redundant vSmart, and that should be right. So in these two scenarios, your OMP will come into the picture. This thing you need to be very much clear in your mind. Then OMP means overlay management protocol. Okay, if I will write down this overlay management protocol. So when I am saying overlay, why I am saying overlay? Anyone? How
It's an over on MPLS or internet link it built.
So as earlier I told you guys that in your scenario, what you can have is like in old legacy scenario, if I need to interact with two devices and I need to go through the ISP, I need to hand over my routes to the ISP. That was the requirement. But in our SD-WAN, we need not to make those connectivity. What we will be using, maybe mostly we will be using default gateway, maybe the static default route towards the ISP. And once our underlay connectivity is through, rest things will be created on the top of this like underlay connectivity, and that is your overlay tunnel. And this tunnel is, what is this tunnel? If it is, no,
IPsec.
no. So this would be your only DTLS or TLS tunnel. Okay. We will be talking about, maybe I will be giving you overview about the IPsec, where the IPsec is coming into the picture. But currently you just think about that it is your DTLS and TLS tunnel that will get created. And under this tunnel, you will be having OMP. Okay. And not only OMP, you can have the SNMP, you can have the netconf, you can have the restconf. I will be showing you practically. Okay, don't worry, I will be showing you. In some time, I will be gonna show you. But before that, your theoretical part should be very much clear, because Viptela is somehow it is using some new terms. So you guys should be aware about it. If I will talk about what OMP is, only what OMP, not theory, nothing, no full form, what the OMP is.
The connectivity between smarts and edge.
It is a protocol.
Okay.
Just bit like your OSPF, BGP, EIGRP. It is another protocol named as OMP. Okay. And we will be checking out that we need to do the redistribution also when we are talking about OMP. So very first thing, if I will talk about OMP, is that in SD-WAN solution, your control plane. Okay. If I will talk about control plane. So Kaza, when you are saying about IPsec, whenever you think about IPsec, think about the data plane. Okay. So data plane comes where? In between your WAN edge devices. So when this is your WAN edge devices, the data plane tunnel will come up and it would be IPsec tunnel. I will be gonna show you, don't worry. Okay. Everything I will be gonna show you. But for the current timing, you can say whenever we are talking about OMP means we are talking about what? We are talking about the control plane only. First thing is clear, guys. OMP will come into the picture when we need to have our control plane. Okay, so that is our OMP that come into the picture. Then using OMP, we can say that we securely send our routes privately, either on the MPLS, maybe on your point-to-point networks, maybe lease line, maybe internet, maybe LTE, whatever. Onto that tunnel, we are using OMP to exchange the route. And what is the component, or I will say, which controller is used for OMP? We talked about this. Which controller?
vSmart.
vSmart. So vSmart is the controller that will be taking care of your OMP. And when I am saying about the OMP, maybe whenever we are talking about the vSmart, you can think of a BGP route reflector. BGP route reflector. What it does in the very overview, if I will give you, that there is one WAN edge device running out with 116 maybe 230.1/32 or maybe /24, whatever you wanted to take. Here is 172.16.120.1/24, and these things are connected with, maybe for the simplicity sake, I am using only internet, and this is going to the vSmart. So maybe at this point of time, you can think about that our control plane is up, control plane is up for your controllers. Okay, what does that mean? I will be talking about that in a very short span of time. And the control plane is also up for your WAN edge also. Okay, differently we need to make the control plane up. That is again a very big task. But if these things are okay, then this route will be gonna go, if I talk about OMP peer, the OMP peer of this WAN edge device would be only vSmart. If I talk about the OMP peer from this WAN edge device, that will be again your vSmart. If I will check the OMP peers over here, there would be 2, 1 and 2 as per this diagram. But if I will change my maybe third one also, I am added over here, the peers would be gonna 3. But for this, only vSmart. So who is the OMP peer when I am talking with you guys? Then you need to be very much sure that, okay, OMP means control plane. Control planes means vSmart. So it means OMP peer would be who? The vSmart for the WAN edge devices. And for the vSmarts, there are 3 or 4. How many your WAN edge devices are there? Either it is V edge or the C edge. Okay, by the way, what is the difference between V edge and C edge?
Viptela edge and C edge is
Your Cisco device.
yeah, Cisco edge.
Right. So your OMP peers would be a bit like that. So everyone will be sharing their routes to the vSmart, and it is the job of your vSmart to cascade this information onto these peers that, okay, you have such a route which is coming through which protocol? OMP. Is it clear? So OMP is bit like your routing protocol, you can say. And this is the responsibility of your OMP to cascade the routes from one V edge to the other V edge or C edge, you can say. WAN edge, maybe in the general terms we can talk about. And vSmart will take all the routing and topology information received from the different clients. And it will calculate the best path information based on maybe your configured policy. What are the policies we will be talking about later on? And then it will advertise the best route to the other WAN edge device. And here, which tunnel will be coming into the picture, guys? When I am talking about that, this is your vSmart, and this is your WAN edge. Okay, this is your WAN edge 1, this is your WAN edge 2. So the tunnel which is coming into the picture is only
DTLS.
DTLS. So do not get confused. This will be only DTLS tunnel because it is your control plane. So this would be DTLS or TLS, you can say. Okay, so these DTLS TLS connections are maintained between all the personas in the SD-WAN overlay. Either you talk about vBond, either you talk about vSmart, either you talk about vEdges, or maybe you talked about vManage. Everyone will create the control connections using your DTLS and TLS connections. And these tunnels are negotiating using your SSL certificates. And that is the requirement why we were, adding SSL certificates into our previous class. Any doubt so far you can ask me, otherwise I will be proceeding up more onto these things further. So by default, if I will talk about your DTLS tunnel will be using the port that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. If it is not allowed, maybe, okay, and it is stopped, it will be using some kind of port hopping. That can be a bit of 100 and 100 or maybe 10 or 10, something like that. Okay, and it will be keep on checking. So you should be aware when you are using SD-WAN, these ports should be open. Okay, what is the range I will be gonna give you, or maybe we can check it into the Cisco documents. But those range should be, allowed. So as I told you that if it is our vSmart and if it is our WAN edge device, okay, any WAN edge device, and if DTLS or the TLS tunnel is coming up in between them, then it is not only DTLS or TLS tunnel that is running in between these DTLS or TLS tunnel, there can be different protocol those are running. One of the protocol which we talked about is OMP. Second, it can use SNMP. Third, it can use netconf or the restconf. So these things are used in a hidden way, and in the, if you say in the background, they are using the REST APIs. What is REST API? We talked about, right? Anyone wanted to answer? What is REST API? So REST API means when your one device is talking with another device automatically using the HTTP or HTTPS, what happened? Okay. Using the HTTP or HTTP connections. Am I audible, guys? Hello?
Yeah, you are. Ravi.
Okay.
You are
Okay.
on.
So when you are using HTTP and HTTPS connection, okay, automatically, and in the background, if you will talk about, it is using maybe XML, JSON, and different other frameworks inside into this REST-conf and NetConf kind of thing. So you should be aware when your devices are preparing the tunnels, within those tunnels, these are the secure tunnels secured by your SSL. Again, we will be coming to the picture that how SSL, what kind of things are we are using in the SSL even. We will be talking about that. But onto this secure channel, we have a lot of other protocols that are running in the background. So far, any doubt you can ask me.
But DTLS and SSL is also called as a protocol.
So TLS or DTLS is the tunnel, okay, datagram tunnel, you can say. So DTLS basically UDP based, TLS basically TCP based, because your vBond using DTLS. So generally,
So are we using both the tunnel at the same time, or it's two different tunnels?
two different things, but we used to say DTLS or TLS. So currently, maybe you can say if everywhere you will see it would be DTLS, because it hardly matter either you are using DTLS or TLS, and both of them provide you the security.
And both of them are running into different ports.
Yes.
Okay.
UDP and TCP based. Okay. Then when we talk about OMP, I talked with you that OMP is an protocol, and it is designed as such that it can interact, okay, it can interact with other, maybe what to say, legacy protocols. So it can use, or it can be work with other legacy protocols. When I am saying legacy protocol, maybe you can think about the static, okay, although it is a static thing, not dynamic protocol, but it's well like OSPF, okay, OSPF, either it is exterior, internal, whatever, okay, and then maybe your BGP, your IBGP, EIGRP. So it can talk with them. Now, how it will be coming into the picture? Let me just give you a brief overview. So this is our WAN as device 1, maybe VH1. This is our WAN as device 2, maybe VH2. Then if we talk about, there is a media where we are connected with, and for the simplicity sake, maybe we are saying we have vSmart. Already we are aware that using these tunnels, there would be OMP peer, and using OMP, we will be sharing these routes, okay? But when we are saying the routes, if it is my PE of this branch location, there should be a different LAN devices. Similarly, we are going with this picture. There should be a different LAN devices associated over there. Core switch, access switch, distribution switch, whatever kind of area you are, means productions networks you are using. Now, in that scenario, you must be running some kind of protocol over here as well. Let us say I am using EIGRP over here. Let us say I am using OSPF over here. So this is the duty of your OMP protocol, that you need to redistribute. We will be talking about, and we will be checking out that later on also, that you need to redistribute these things over here. By default, EIGRP and OSPF, okay, internal is already, in over there. But maybe if we need to redistribute some more, then we can use that, and vice versa. You need to redistribute OMP into your EIGRP or into your OSPF. Okay, so here OMP, whole domain OMP, here your EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, whatever you are running out. So that is how the interoperability will work in between them. Any doubts so far? Okay. So we talked about OMP. Now,
Distribution of OSPF to EHRP between the sites will happen through OMP or how it is?
no. OMP will work only in the upper domain. Lower domain, you will be running out your things maybe on service. Okay, what are the VPNs? What is the range of VPNs?
Except 0 and 512, you have rest you can use.
Yeah,
That's true.
0 is transport.
Maybe if I am using 100, or maybe I am using anything else. So in these service VPN, you can run any of the protocol towards the left, and it will be bit like same as we are running till now. Okay.
So then what OMP is playing here, you're learning the service VPNs with respective protocols. So what OMP is, just it is used to communicate between the edge and the smart. That's it.
Right. So it will be cascading this information from here to vSmart, because ultimately your vSmart will propagate these information to other V edges.
That means vSmart doesn't understand whether it is OSPF or EIGRP. It just forwards whatever other service VPN.
We will check. We will check that. Don't worry. It do. For the time being, you can understand. No, it do, but we will check that. Okay.
Okay.
It will see that how the routes are coming on, and on the basis of that, it will calculate the best route, and then it will propagate to others. Okay. Okay. So that is your one thing. Then the very important thing which comes over here is your graceful restart. Okay. So graceful restart. What does that mean? So let me write down OMP, graceful restart. So your OMP supports your graceful restart. It means that into your WAN edge devices, okay, a cache information will be forwarded through your vSmart. Maybe you can say whole routing table is cached over here. Okay. And let us think about if your vSmart is unavailable due to any reason. In such case, your WAN edge device will not stop to send the data traffic. Okay. And this graceful restart is enabled on by default on all of the vSmarts, okay, and the WAN edge devices. And by default, the timer is 12 hours. So after 12 hours, it need to be again negotiate. And if your vSmart is not coming up, it would be again a dump device. Again, this timer, you can go up for the minimum 1 second and for the maximum 7 days. Okay. So that is your graceful restart. It is bit like your, maybe you can say caching. Okay. And you are supporting the caching. And in case your WAN edge devices lose the connectivity with your vSmart, it will be gonna go and talk with your different WAN edge devices on the basis of the previous information. Okay, when we are talking about graceful restart and all of these things, one thing which we should be aware about the IPsec encryption key. So the encryption keys need to be authenticated each other, and during the graceful restart period, if someone initiate that, so graceful timer will not matter, and it will break down the like tunnel, IPsec tunnel, which is created between one V edge and the V edge 2. It will break down. So generally, what is the best practice is, whatever you are setting, graceful restart period, IPsec rekey timer should be twice of the value of this. Whatever you are using it, make it is the twice, so that if your graceful restart timer starts, there is very less probability that your IPsec key tunneling will reinitiate and tone down the session in between each other. Okay, I hope there should be no doubt in this as well. So OMP is again a very good protocol which we should be known about. And when I talked about that, okay, what are the OMP3 type of routes? Okay, let me use some another color, OMP routes. So we discussed about it that OMP has 3 type of routes. Anybody recalled it? What are those? One is known as OMP route itself, or it can be sometime referred as V routes, okay, Viptela routes. Second, we talked about the transport locators, or maybe you can say the TLOC. And third, we talked about the service. We talked about these 3, right? Anybody can tell me now, what are these? Some overview. Forgot, huh? It's all right.
We have gone through it, but I think we not recollected. Yeah.
Okay, not an issue, not an issue. So if as an overview, I will talk about, we talk about the OMP route that the network prefixes that provide the service. Maybe let me just create the diagram. So this is your WAN edge, and the below side, these routes generally are known as OMP routes, okay, or the V routes. When we talked about the TLOC, we talked about that TLOC is nothing but it is an identifier. And again, TLOC has 3 things. Remember, what are those? No? Okay, let me give you an overview about all of these 3 in some more detail so that you will not forget again.
You're talking about color, system IP, and encapsulation?
That's true. That's true. We talked about those 3 things, okay, within the TLOC. And then service route, when we talked about service route, it means that you are hosting some kind of service. It may be a firewall, it may be a IPS, it may be IDS, okay. And when your service is there in the your SD-WAN overlay, it will be sending the routes. Those routes are known as your service route. Okay, maybe let us go through that in more detail, okay, somewhat, so that we can have some more knowledge. So let us start with your maybe OMP routes. So every WAN edge devices need to advertise their route to whom? WAN edge devices will send the routes to whom?
vSmart.
To the vSmart. That is true. So every WAN edge device will send the routes to the vSmart only. Okay, we talked about this. And these updates are bit similar to your traditional, routing updates. That how your traditional routing is flood the updates to each other. Maybe your OSPF, BGP, or bit like that. It is just using through the OMP. And when your routes are coming from one VH to the vSmart, it will be having different things. And one of that was TLOC that we were talking about, TLOC. And inside into TLOC, as you were saying, we have the system IP, right? We have the color and we have the encapsulation. System IP is what? System IP, when I was telling you about the system IP, I was saying that you can bit like it is your router ID. You can take it as your router ID only. Again, this is one of the important stuff, not routable. It should be unique. Okay. System IP is the way to identify the WAN as that originally advertised the route. Then when we talked about the color is, you can say it is a mark, okay, specific to the WAN connection that later can be used to influence our policy also, but later on we will check about that. When we talked about the encapsulation, it means we are using either IPsec or GRE, but yes, GRE is not a good way to configure. We will be using only IPsec code when we are talking about TLOC. Okay. So OMP routes, when coming, it will be not having these information. It will be having some more information. I will be gonna show you in some time when we will be preparing our topology. So it will be using some more information. Like what? Like it will be using origin. Okay. Origin maybe. Yeah. So what is origin is? Origin is nothing but it will be showing that what is the source of the route, and this route is advertising into OMP routing domain by whom? Kaza, you are asking this question. So origin will let us know either it is advertised by some of the other protocols, either it is BGP, OSPF, EIGRP, connected static, whatever, along with the protocol original metric. And again, origin can be used in the best path selection. And later on, we can see that how it influence when this kind of information coming to. It can have some more like originator. This particular stuff is talking about that who is the originator of this route. And when I am talking about originator, it means I am talking about router ID, or in Viptela terms, we can say it is a, this value would be the system IP. Okay. Then not only this, it can use some more attributes. Okay. There are a lot of attributes. It is bit like your, BGP. So there would be something known as preference. Again, the same like the BGP, you can say it is nothing new, but the new protocol with old stuff. It will be using the preference also. Again, the higher would be the best. Bit like your local preference or something in your BGP terminology. It will be using something known as service. Okay. Either it is firewall or something like that when we were talking about the service route. Then it is using something known as site ID. What is site ID, guys? It is, we were configuring it into our minimal configuration also, or we can say in the bootstrap configuration also, right? So what is site ID? Site ID is nothing but like your BGP autonomous system or something like that. Okay. Again, you can influence the routing decision on the basis of your site ID also. But it is also used for the loop prevention mechanism. So if it has site ID 100, it has site ID 100, again, it will not create the data connection at all, because it will think that this is my device only, because on the one site, you can have multiple WAN edge devices. Okay. So there is no use to create the data tunnel between my site only. So site ID you can use. Then what you can use is,
you're saying between two WAN edges, you cannot have the same site ID, right?
so you can use, but it will not form the data tunnel. Okay. If you are mistakenly using in between two sites, you are using the same site ID, your data tunnel will not come up.
Okay.
Then
So-
you can, yeah.
Between the WAN edges, there will not be any direct communication, right? It will be only through vSmart.
But there would be the tunnel which will get created, and that is your data tunnel, IPsec,
Between the
right?
WAN.
And when your routing like your routing is in place, control plane is sharing with you the routing, that direct connection will not go through the vSmart at all. It will be direct.
Means I didn't understand. So because you're saying all the WAN edges will send all the routes to the vSmart, correct? So now vSmart will hold the entire database of the WAN edges. So now if I want to communicate between two WAN edges, so it will take help of vSmart initially and then it will be direct connection between them, or
That's true.
every time it goes to vSmart.
No. So if this is WAN edge 1, this is WAN edge 2, vSmart is talking about that these are the routes. Okay, routing information is, that is the control plane, you can say. Control plane is built upon. Now the data plane will be direct. It will directly, go. It will not go through the vSmart. Directly go through the IPsec tunnels. Okay. So that would be your data plane.
Data plane means forwarding. So how does it know the next hop of WAN edge 2?
There the TLOC will come into the picture. The physical identifier, you can say. And TLOC has again your three things, right? And one of them is system IP. And on the basis of system IP, let me draw the TLOC. Okay, let us talk about the TLOC routes. Okay, so TLOC is nothing but your physical identifier. Okay, let us talk about the TLOC. Maybe you will be able to understand about the TLOC. So TLOC is the transport location identifier, which will identify your physical location of the device. So you can say it is a bit like your GRE tunnel. As I told you that it consists of three things. One is your system IP, and then your color, and then your encapsulation. So let us say this is my WAN edge device 1. It is going through MPLS. It is going through internet. And in the next end, you have maybe vSmart. So when this route is coming, this route will be come through this location from this location. Let us say the system IP is 1.1.1. So over the MPLS route would be 1.1.1.1, and it will be having the color MPLS. It will be having the like encapsulation of IPsec. Similarly, from here also it will be showing you 1.1.1.1 through the internet and through the IPsec. And when the same information will be shared to your another WAN edge device, on the basis of this thing is known by your underlay. Okay, so this is known by your underlay. So that is how your thing will be coming into the picture. Give me a minute, guys. Just 1 minute. Important call.
It is sending it to the vSmart, right? Initially. Correct. So vSmart will maintain the database. Now, how about later on? How
later on, if you will see, this information will not get changed. Who is the originator, right? Originator is the 1.1.1.1. So once that information is there, this will directly form a tunnel with this guy.
So that means now the WAN edge 2 details will be in the WAN edge 1 as well, right? All the routes.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. Okay. So only in the initial, it is like similar to DMVPN. That's what you're saying, correct?
It is. You can say that everything is the same with the previous terminology, but they are using some new names, right?
Yeah, but similar to DMVPN phase 2
Hmm.
or phase 3, right?
Right. So in that case also what happens, once the information of your like what the term
Up to
was,
spoke.
sorry?
Hmm.
No, they were using some another terminology in the DMVPN.
NHRP.
NHRP, yeah. Once the information of NHRP is there, bit like here is the system IP. So you will directly form the term. So bit like that.
Okay.
Okay. So that is how your things will be working in your SD-WAN solution.
Yeah, that means it is almost similar to our ACI also, where all the spam.
So sometimes people used to say it is old whiskey in a new bottle. Okay. So it is that how it is. Okay. So when we were talking about the color, there are some range of the colors. Again, it is bit form of your you can say bit like your tag, and there are predefined 22 colors or so much which you can use, and colors are defined whether your underlying transport is private, public in nature. You can, in the form of that, you can use any of the tag. Okay. So by default, if you are not using any color, it will be used as the default color. So it is the name default. They will be using as the default. Okay. Okay. So that is how our OMP will work. That is how these things will be, connectivity will be going through. Okay. I hope now you guys have a fair information or knowledge about these things. Now let's come, because in our previous class we talked about that first of all, the first point is when we need to make Cisco SD-WAN fabric up, we need to keep control plane up. Anyone can talk me, like give me some things like what are the steps?
What is that? You're saying?
Control plane up. To make the control plane up, what are all the steps we need to follow?
Control plane up between what?
Cisco SD-WAN fabric. We need to create the SD-WAN fabric up. Last time we were doing it, right? So what all are the steps we need to do? Let me just give you a hint to get it recalled. First of all, we need to install our controllers on any of the hypervisor. What is the second step? Forget, huh?
You're saying, okay, bringing up the fabric is what you're saying, right?
Right.
So
Then
the
we need
controller.
to spin up, right? We need to spin up these controllers over this hypervisor, install the images, right? Install the images and make it up. Then while installing the images, we should be aware that what is the requirement for the vManage. By the way, what is the HDD2? We discussed about HDD2 when we were talking about that we should be using 100 gig.
100 GB, correct.
Why? Because it is used for saving maybe your syslogs, maybe different type of logs, monitoring and all of the stuff. And then 8 core CPU, 32 GB RAM. Similarly, your vSmart, similarly your vBond. When I am talking about vBond, what is the image of the vBond? Anyone?
Image of the vBond.
Yes. We talked about the image. I just explicitly mentioned that vBond image is what? So there is no such image exist of the vBond. We use vEdge at the vBond. Guys, don't forget these important stuff. These are very important, right? So there is no vBond image as such. We will be using vEdge image only for the vBond. And to convert it into the vBond, what we will do, in our minimal configuration, we will provide vBond, whatever the IP or FQDN you wanted to provide. And post that, you just need to write down a keyword name as local. And your image will understand that I am a vBond. Any doubt? Okay. Then we need to go for the minimal configuration, right? Minimal configuration of your all of these things. Then we need to go for certificates. Hey, have you forgot, or I didn't teach about this? If I didn't teach, then I need to speak up about this thing in a detail so that you would be able to understand. But if I am not wrong, I taught you in the last class. And then I talked about the certificate can be of the two type, the root certificate and the identity certificate. And we need to install both of them, right? For root certificate, I told you that we have a root CA where we generate a root certificate, we create it as the TFTP server. There is so much silence.
Yeah, correct.
Remembering this point, right?
Yeah, root certificate we built and we have made it as a CA server.
Right. So we create a root certificate, okay, for you, Munir. Just it is an simple router where we create a TFTP server, okay, TFTP server, and we create a root C over here with the name of PKI, okay. And when we need to bring up our any of the controller up, first of all, which controller we need to make up? vManage. So when we need to create any of the server up, we need to import two certificates. One is root CA, second is your identity. Okay. And today, in today's class, we will be talking about these things in details. Maybe let me, wipe out the configuration of my vManage so that I can create you again with you all people. I think so that you forget about this. So this is my vManage. Let me start on. This is my iNet device. Let me start it. This is my root CA. This is my Windows machine to take the console connection. So I am just creating these 4 devices up. It would be a bit like this. Let me give you the overview. This is a bit like your switch. This is my root CA. This is my window PC, which will be acting as my management PC, and I am making my vManage up. Okay. My duty is what? When my vManage will come up by providing the only routing. Okay, maybe root CA is not coming into the picture. If I am just putting the routing over here in between these two guys, I can able to take the GUI connection from my Windows PC. What the routing I need to do into my Windows PC is, I just need to put whatever the IP address, and default gateway will be the SVI of my this switch. SVI is nothing but a layer 3 interface. So it will be like interface VLAN 1, all of the part of the VLAN 1. And into my case, it will be 20.1.1.1/24. Okay. So everyone will be have the default gateway of this switch. Because later on, when I will be expanding my this topology for the data VLAN, I need to be have very much cautious that routing should be okay, because routing stuff will not gonna change, right? So underground routing should be okay. Any doubts so far? So meanwhile it is coming up, let us talk about the certificates also, because you guys should be aware why the certificates are there, that you need to be like aware about. So what are the steps is, if we are talking about the Cisco vManage, then let me just tell you again, meanwhile my like vManage is coming up, which will take some time. Okay. So you need to make it up on some kind of hypervisor. Then under the GUI, we need to do some kind of configuration, some minimal configuration again. And if you remember, I told you that when we are talking about the GUI and we are talking about the CLI, sometime you can see there is redundant information we are providing, and that is the reason, because automatically it will not sync in between these two planes. Give me a minute, please. Hello. Hey, I am sorry. I was on some important call from office. Okay. So what I was talking is that you need to create your vManager, and then maybe I will be talking about these things in the lab only. Otherwise, you guys will not able to catch it theoretically. Okay. But let us talk about the certificate before that. Let me check my lab is up or no. And I need to make it up. If I will see my vManager. Let me refresh the topology. Sometimes it's the connection becomes stale, so it get on rebooted. That's all right. My system is also becoming slow. Not sure why. Okay. Let me go to the vManage. Not up. And if I will go to my iNet device, what happened? What about my root CA? Okay, root CA is up, right? Let me show you the configuration of the root CA, what we did last time. So can you see, we just created a server, PKI server. These are again, very small commands, Munir, for your information, just to create it as a like root server. Okay, but in your organization, it might or might not happen that your enterprise. Okay, when we will be talking about the certificate, let me give you one more thing. So by default, your Viptela. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Am I audible? Anyone? Hello. My voice.
You are.
Okay. So by default, your Viptela will use Symantec. Okay, Symantec as the like certificate authority and all of the stuff. Currently, also Cisco also using this. But again, there are some more ways when you are going for the certificate part. You can use your enterprise root CA also. And in that case, you need to tweak out some of the settings that I will be showing you when our Cisco vManage will come up. Okay. Then I will be showing you that what are the settings we need to do. But into our lab scenario, we are using enterprise root CA server only. Okay. So this we created, as we are aware, we created a key also. That's perfectly fine. We created some kind of username just to take login into this. Okay. We created okay, that you can ignore because that may be of your MPLS or the internet part. And that's it. We just created these kind of things over there. And if I will talk about my iNet device, I will go to the showrun. Okay, I was in the root CA. Okay, so root CA, so it was in the, like, the IP was for this gig interface only. Okay, I just think that I was in INET, but it was root CA. So this is the IP .14. So this IP is only of your TFTP server also. Then if I will go into my INET device, here I just created a VLAN, and just you can ignore about this step. Maybe let me, go to the conti. No router OSPF1 and WR. We will be doing it later on, maybe today or tomorrow, however the time permits us. Again, there is very plain configuration. We didn't do a lot of stuff over here. We just, configure VLAN 1, and rest of the ports are into the VLAN 1 only. And this IP I was talking about, that you can just ignore it. Maybe let me, it is one by one. Conti default interface link one by one, and WR show IP interface brief. If you see, it is pretty simple, only one interface which we keep up. Rest all of the things are, same. Okay, if I will show you show VLAN configuration, everything is into the VLAN 1, so that end-to-end communication can be done without any layer 1 or layer 2 thing. If I will go to the admin and admin, I will see that this is my vmanage. Have I done? Okay. So this is having the IP and all of the stuff, but just for the sake of, to show you guys again about this, let me stop this guy and let me make the wipe out this configuration. Okay, I am explicitly wiping out this configuration because I want to show you how this vmanage we keep it up, and how we need to do these things, the minimal configuration and all of the stuff, so that your first control plane fabric component can be up when you are making your SD-WAN solution end to end. Okay, any doubts so far to anyone? No? Okay, let us talk about something more. So why, if you talk about why certificates, so we are aware that when we are using some kind of device, maybe you can say there is vSmart, there is vBond, these devices will say that, okay, authenticate me. It will say that, okay, you are valid, and it will say on the basis of what? On the basis of 2-3 things. One thing, it can use as your organization name into the picture. Okay, there is some organization unit also, but we will be talking about later on, not now, not the correct time to talk about. And it will also check your root CA. Root CA is coming into the picture because the root CA of this device and the root CA of this device will be same, because we are importing the certificate from the same root CA. And that is how, when it is saying the authentication, it will say that, okay, you are authenticated, and a complete DTLS tunnel will come up in between these guys. Okay, are you getting this point, guys? Any doubt? So how the connection is like coming into the picture? First of all, your Cisco vBond, maybe you can say, if sending the request, then it will send it request that, okay, this is my root CA certificate, and it will send to the vSmart. Okay, otherwise I am talking about. Then your Cisco vBond send the vEdge that, okay, this is my serial number. Okay, because it is an vEdge image only, so it will send that, okay, it is my serial number, and it will send to the vSmart controller. vSmart controller will use its root chain to trust that either the organization name and the certificate which it is sending, the organization name and all of these things are matching or no. If it match, the Cisco vSmart controller establish the DTLS tunnel. Otherwise, just tear down the tunnel. It will say no, it is someone else who is coming into the Cisco WAN fabric. I don't want to allow him. And similarly, one-way connection SSL authentication is done, the other way around will be also happen. It means your Cisco vSmart controller use the root CA chain again to verify the certificate that it is signed by my this root CA. Either it can be your Symantec or maybe enterprise CA as we are using in our scenario. And if the signature is correct and everything is fine, it will validate the organization name and all of that stuff. And the two-way DTLS tunnel will come up. Any doubt? Is it okay, guys? So that is how your,
So between vSmart and vBond, it is DTLS, correct?
in your control collection. Again, let me, okay, maybe let me create one.
Again, only in the control plane.
So let me talk about it. Let us say this is your vSmart. Let us say this is our vBond and this is our vManage. Here under the beneath, this is our WAN as device 1. This is our WAN as device 2. And there is just, you can say, whatever, MPLS, internet, LT, whatever is there. Okay. And this is my connectivity. Now, one of you please pick up what is the tunnel in between these two.
That's DTLS.
So it will be DTLS or TLS. What is the tunnel in between these two?
Same DTLS.
Or TLS. What is the tunnel in between them two?
Same DTLS.
What is the tunnel in between these two?
DTLS.
What is the tunnel in between these two?
DTLS.
And what is the tunnel in between these two?
From the data plane, it will be IPsec.
Right. So your understanding is a bit clear.
But
Where-
here, this is the data plane you are saying, right? But control plane, again, it will be DTLS only, right?
Right. You can see with vSmart what kind of tunnel it is, DTLS or TL.
Okay. So that means there will be no control plane tunnel directly between WAN edges. Rather, it will be only data plane tunnel, right?
Between the WAN edges,
Between the WAN
only
edges.
only data tunnel.
Okay. So the control plane, they are not forming because the vSmart is taking care of that, and between that it will be DTLS from the control plane perspective.
That's
Okay.
true.
And between any of these, there will be no data because data is only between the WAN edges. Okay, got it.
Got it? Okay. Munir, any doubts to you?
No, I'm good. Actually, there are some doubt. That's why I'm not speaking, because I didn't go through last videos. But it's clear. It's okay. I will go through the videos, and I will, if I had any questions, I will let you know. Thank you.
Sure. Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
That's good. So let me go to the vManage and let me log in into it. And first time it will say that, okay, change your password. You need
The other guy is dropped, right, from the call?
Yes, because he has some activity, and in the very beginning he told that he will be dropping out today soon. Okay, that's all right. So if you see, it is saying that, okay, you must change your password. Okay, now if you need to change your password again, for the simplicity sake, maybe into your lab also you can use admin and admin again. It is saying that, okay, reconfirm it. I am reconfirming it as admin and admin. Then this is the thing what I was talking about, guys, that it will be asking that what is the hard disk you need to use, and by default you need to use only 100 GB. That is your first thing. Okay, so here you need to add that, okay, I want to add the first option and write down, yes, I need to format it, and just click on OK. It will take some time, okay, to boot up. Meanwhile, let us go for a quick break and maybe pause that. We will be meeting soon. Okay. So let me add a timer for 5 minutes, 5 to 6 minutes, and then we will be coming up. Okay. Where is that? Okay, so I hope all of you are back. Munir, Kaza, are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So we were talking about vManage. Okay. Admin, I hope I gave the wrong stuff over here. Let me log in again. Admin. Okay. So I am into my vManage now. Root CA already configured, and my what to say that iNet device already configured, window machine already configured. Today I am starting up with vManage only, and I am starting from the scratch, very scratch. So you should be aware about that what kind of configuration we need to do. If you miss any one of them, your control connection will not come up. Okay, so you should be very much aware. So when we are treating with Veptela, last time I told you that generally your configuration can be divided into two parts. What are those?
System and other
VPN. System and VPN.
VPN one.
Later on we will be talk about the policy. Later on we will be talk about other things, but currently just think about system and VPN. Okay, as the initial point we will be talking about system and VPN. When we are saying system, the bootstrap configuration, that is what is your host name. Okay, into host, even host name command is little bit different over here. What is your system IP? Then what is your site ID? Then what is your vBond? Then what is your organization name? You need to put all of those configuration under the system. And under the VPN, you need to configure for your underlay VPN. That is, in this case, it will be ETH0. You need to put out the IP. You need to give the default gateway and other things also, but later on we will be talking about, not now. Okay. So these are the very, very basic things, okay, which we need to get configured over our vManage. Okay. Munir, are you there?
Yeah, I am here.
Okay. So let me go to the confi first to make the system configuration, and any configuration. It would be bit like your, Cisco IOS only, but little bit difference. Then under the system, I need to create maybe system IP. So system IP, when I need to create, I am using for the system IP, what kind of logic I am using is, any the first two octets you can use any as per your choice, but what I am using is 1.1. And the third octet I am using the site ID. And the fourth octet, whatever my device IP is, my device VPN 0 IP is. Okay. So in this case, because vManage IP would be, I hope if I'm not wrong, 10, and the site ID of all of the controller is 100, it would be like bit like that. That would be my system IP. Okay. You can use your own system IP, but I will say you that stick with this if you don't want to get confused into them. So you can see the site is 100. Okay. For all of my controller zone, I am using site ID 100. vManager IP I am using for the underlay management, I am using .10. So my system IP will be 1.1.100.10. What would be for this vSmart? Anyone with the same logic? What should be the system IP? Because first two octets are 1.1.1, it is same. Site ID is again 100, it is same. Because my Ethernet IP is 12, okay, I will be using .12. And here it would be 1.1.100.11. So bit simple, okay, so that at any point of time, if I need to check out, okay, from which site this route is coming, I can simply able to diagnose that. For example, what should be the site ID of this guy? If I am considering it as .2. So it would be 1.1. Because the site ID is 230, it will be 230. Physical IP is .2, it will be .2. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go to the terminal and let me consider my system IP, that is 1.1.100.10. Now my site ID, but obvious it is 100. And then my organization name. Please use it as NetMinion only, because the same organization name we use when we created our root certificate on our root CA server. So I am using NetMinion. This is case sensitive, guys. Okay, this value is case sensitive. You cannot use any other. If it is a running case, it should be the running case. If first letter is in the uppercase, rest are in the lower case, you should be used bit like that, because it is a very much case sensitive. You should not be miss that thing. Okay, what next? What is the last thing which we need to provide? That is vBond. So in advance, we are putting it. Currently, it is not up, but it's all right. I am putting it. And rest thing is, you can go to the top. Oh, you can go to the top for going from the system mode. If you see, when I run down the top command, I came out from the system to the main config mode. Okay. Even if you are into the config mode, you are into the VPN mode, you are into the interface mode, you are running down the top, you will again come back to the config mode only. So that is how top command will work. So that is your top command. Now that is also good. Now for saving this configuration, you need to write down commit. And it is showing that, okay, commit is complete. You can go to the end, maybe going back, Control Z, same as your Cisco iOS. Or you can save some another command also that I would be showing you. But before that, let me configure your VPN stuff. And into your VPN stuff, I am just purposely not giving one command, but rest of command I am giving here. So it is your interface Ethernet 0. Here IP address would be 10.1.1.10/24. That is perfectly fine. I don't want to make it shut down. And in the IP route, I want to give 0000/0. It should be 20.1.1.1. Now, if I will go to the top, okay, I will go to the top. I run the show running, show configuration, show configuration. It will be showing me the same configuration which is not committed yet. Okay, this configuration is not committed, and it is showing me that under the show configuration that this is not committed. If I will go to the end, it will ask that there is some uncommitted change. Do you want to commit them or no? I will write down yes. It will be get committed automatically. Now, if you will check show run system configuration, you can see that this is my system configuration, even though some more configuration is coming by default, but it's all right. Least bother about them. But you just check out whatever configuration we put over here, like the organization name, like the vBond, like the system IP, like the site ID. Every that 4 point of components which is used for your bootstrap is there. Is it okay? Any doubt? No? Now, if I will run down show run and maybe for the VPN configuration. So under the VPN configuration, you will be able to see only couple of the commands, and those commands are under the VPN. You use your Ethernet 0, you put the IP address for IPv6 least bothered. It is not shut down, and the default gateway I have provided, which is nothing but my into my topology. If you will see, this is my switch, this is my vManage. So my vManage having the default gateway towards my switch. Onto my switch, there is interface VLAN 1, which has the same IP, which I have shown you before as well. Any doubt? So by doing so, I should have the connectivity with my root server. Let me check. Ping 20.1.1.14. So if you see 20.1.1.14 is responding to me, it means physical connectivity is okay. And if I will go to my Windows server, let me make it close. Let me see by command prompt ping 20.1.1.10, that is my vManage, it is reachable now. Okay. Now, by doing so, you can go ahead and you can take the like GUI connection of your vManage. Okay, because it was already saved into our last class. It automatically it will navigate to the 8443 port. Need not to worry. Again, the username and password would be admin and admin. So I am going with admin, and you can able to see that my vManage is up. Perfect. So we will be talking about these stuff later on. A whole class is there for vManage, you know, these different options. But for now, if you see this top, you know, stuff, you can able to see there is no vSmart, there is none of vEdge, there is none of vBond, vManage because it is local, it is showing you, okay, and the warning is you don't have the certificate. There is an invalid certificate. I will be going through couple of more, you know, options in the vManage, only couple of the options. So do not worry about that. So if I will click over here, go to the configuration, under the configuration, you can see there are two options. We will be navigated to them, and one more I will be showing you, but let me click on the certificate. Here, when I am clicking on the certificate under the configuration, you can see by default it is showing the WAN edge devices. But since WAN edge devices, we are least bothered, we need to go to the controllers. And over the controllers, we need to check for the vManage. Let me click on the controller, and you can see there is a controller that is vManage. Host name, it is the showing it, the system IP the same what we configured, site ID we same we configured, but it is showing you that certificate is not installed. Okay, so it is showing you certificate is not installed. If you scroll it down, you can see the different more operations. If you check over here under the very beneath, it is showing you the different options that you need to add the device, you need to generate the CSR, you need to have the certificate, and then you need to update that certificate, or maybe under the vBond also, but that is later on. vBond is still not coming into the picture. So this is your control connection you are making up. Okay. Second thing, if you go to the devices, under the devices again, if you will click under the devices, it will by default show you the WAN as devices. Still there is nothing over here. Do not worry, we need not to bother about it. Maybe in tomorrow class we will be talking about that, but you go to the controller. So under the controller you can see that there is vManage host name, it is showing system IP, site ID, CLI mode. Mode is CLI. We will be talking about this mode in some time.
Why it is showing mode as CLI?
We will be talking. Okay, we will be talking. So we would be talking about the CLI mode in some time. Then if you check the certificate, certificate is not there. Okay. And there is 3 options that you can see here, that if you click on the running configuration, it will fetch out the running configuration for you. Okay. And maybe if you wanted to see the local configuration is the same. And again, this is the stuff which you can see over here. But if you click over here, maybe under the certificate and under the controllers, if you click on this system, there is nothing which is showing you that install the certificate. Okay. So there should be something which come over here that install the certificate, but it is not coming. And the reason behind is that currently onto your setting under your administration, this is the last part where we will be, working on in today's class. Okay. So under the administration, under the settings, we need to tweak out couple of the settings over here. What are those? We will be doing it, but one of them is like how your certificate authorization is. Currently by default it is showing you Cisco. So once we will click over this over the edit mode, and we will say that no buddy, I want to use my enterprise at the root CA certificate. Again, it will be asking for something that we will be doing later on in today's class only, but it's all right, leave it for some time. First thing, we need to go over CLI. Let me click on my CLI and let me go to my vManage device. Earlier we just make the session for this, so I am just using the same session. So this is my vManage device. What I need to do, guys, which kind of certificate I need to pull first?
Root certificate.
So that is very true. Under the vManage, okay, this is my vManage, this is my switch, here is my root CA. I already generated a root certificate, so my first responsibility is to put a root CA over here. Second thing, I need to create a CSR. CSR is nothing but simply you can say your certificate signing request, where you need to provide that what is my organization name, what are my validity time, what is my organizational unit, and little bit some kind of more information, on the basis of what you will generate again identity certificate, and you need to import it under the vManage. So those are the steps. First step is root CA, second step is generate the CSR, third step export that CSR to the root CA. Root CA will generate a certificate, import that certificate, the identity certificate into your vManage. So those things we will be doing in our class today, and please be cautious.
So this is the same process for vSmart and
every
vBond as
device,
well, right?
every device.
Same thing, we need to do the root certificate and then generate CSR and then identity certificate. But as far as I'm aware, does everything goes to the root CA, or for vSmart and vBond, does the vManage can act as a root CA?
Yes, that we will be coming on later on. That vManage can also has the capability of the like certificate authority, but root CA will be same. Okay, root CA will not gonna change. Root CA for vManage for VANAGE devices will be same, whereas it can send the identity certificate. That can be possible. Okay, later on we will check, but root CA will be same. Okay, root CA would be your enterprise CA. Okay, so what to do? What are the commands? We already talked about that under our vManage. Let me change the settings. So under the vManage, in our previous class, we talked about that these all things are on the Linux shell. To invoke that bash shell, we can run the command vshell, and hit enter key, or we can only write down V or hit the enter key, and you will be under a Linux shell. You can run out your Linux commands over there. Okay, and we will be using the Linux shell also when we will be importing our certificate and all of that stuff. Okay. Okay, perfectly fine. So let me go over here and let me say I am requesting to download. Maybe before that, let me go to the V shell and let me show ls. So if you see, there is only one file under this directory. Let me exit out. Okay, ls means that I am showing the files. And now I am again request, and I am request for the download, and I am download from my TFTP server, and TFTP server is my root server, that is 11114. Okay, let me remove this, and over from here I am just importing my root C. Okay, so this file, if you go into the V shell mode and you write down ls, you can see that it is present into your home directory now. What is the directory? pwd. If I will run, you can see that it is home and admin. Okay, let me go to the exit, and here I need to install my root cert chain. What is the command? Request, and now write down root and press the tab key. It will automatically go there. I will say that install from where? From the home, then from the admin, and what is the cert that we downloaded from our root CA, and what it is showing you that okay, it is installed now. Okay, so if you will run down show certificate root CA cert, and maybe if I will include my netminion kind of stuff, you can see that now it has something with netminion. Any doubt so far? Commands may be little bit different, but I hope easy to grab, right? Anyone has any doubt in this? Especially you, Munir. Any doubt?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You are good, right? And last time, if you remember, I show you that, okay, if you go into the V shell and if you go to the cat.pki, maybe pki.ca, so this root CA cert, if you remember, I told you that you can just, go to the notepad and save over here, save as on your desktop. Maybe I can say root and .cer. Okay, certificate, if I'm not wrong. And if I will save it, and if I will minimize all the things onto my this machine, you can see this root certificate, it will be shown to you. Okay, what is the validity? Very important. What is the validity? 3 years. Why it is important? Because later on when you will creating the CSR, if you provide the validity 1 year, your none of the device will come up, even though you import the identity server, but it will not gonna come up. Reason? Because your root CA settings and your identity CA settings will not match. So very important. Huh? So you can see other information also if you wanted to check out, but that's perfectly fine. Need not to be bothered about that. Let me get delete. Okay. So that is one thing what I was showing you. So this thing is now you added into your CLI. Into your GUI also you need to import. Why? I told you some of the settings will not get synchronized in between your GUI and into your CLI component. Now, let me go to my GUI again. Under my GUI, let me go to the very, first page. You will be able to see this page. Okay. It is showing that it is invalid. Still, it is showing invalid because identity certificate is not installed. Now, I need to go under the administration very first, under the settings. And now this is the time to change these settings. So organization name, click on edit. Because we are using NetMinion, so you need to use NetMinion only. Running case, running letters, no upper lower in everywhere, in every device. VBond, our VBond is 21111. So it is 21111 by default. You can see the port is 12346. Save it. Least bothered about it, least bothered about it. Cisco authorization. Can you see earlier? If I will show you over here under the certificate, under the controller, if I will click over here, there is nothing known as installed certificate. That thing is coming because Cisco will take care automatically. But this time, when under the administration and the settings, I will make the settings of the like authorization from Cisco to the enterprise certificate. I will be say that okay, proceed. It is asking from the certificate. What is that? That is nothing but your root certificate. So I'm just copying it again, putting it over here. That this is your root certificate end to end, which you need to configure in your environment. And here, if you see, there is something below that is showing you that you need to create CSR properties. What is this CSR property? That whenever you are creating a CSR, then this property should be the same whenever you are using it in your environment. You need to click on this. And here it is asking, what should be the domain name? Maybe I am just giving netminion.net. Organizational unit, it pick up automatically from the cert. Then maybe organization name, you can give Delhi state, maybe Delhi again. Email, whatever email you want to use. I am just putting out admin@netminion. Country, it is India, so I am using IN. Here is the thing, validity you need to be select as 3 years. Why? Anyone? Why 3 years? Why not 2 years? Because it should be matched with your root CA settings. Okay, otherwise your device will not gonna come up and you will think that every configuration is same. Why it is not going up? So you will be able to recognize if you are not matching these kind of things, your device will not come up and you will feel like that, okay, what I am missing out. So control connection is very, very important to bring up. You need to be have everything into the place. Any doubts so far? No? Now go to the configuration again, go to the certificate section, go to the controllers, go to the vManage. This option I was talking about. Can you see now one more option is appearing? Why? Because under the settings we make the changes that okay, I want to use my own root CA. Okay, enterprise. So that is how your settings need to be very much, okay, when you need to perform such kind of activity. Perfect. One thing is done. Second thing, click on these 3 buttons. Can you see there is an option view CSR? If you click over here, there is no CSR that is currently generated. What you can do is you can click over here and you can say that okay, generate a CSR.
Where you got that option?
Here, three options. This let me highlight these 3 lines.
Oh, okay.
These 3 dots. Huh?
If you click on that, you are getting the options of generate CSR,
Right.
view CSR. Okay.
So I have generated the CSR. If I will click the view CSR, you can see currently it is showing me. I can download it also, but let it be copied. Now this CSR need to be, see, you can see the options it is showing over here also below.
Okay, so you already clicked on generate CSR, right?
Right. That is why it is showing the CSR now. Okay. Now I can just go to the view CSR just to check the view. Now this view CSR is using the same properties which you put under the settings. Okay. If you go under the setting, if you see here under this, maybe under the view, can you see these settings? On the basis of these settings, this CSR is getting generated. Very important. Okay. Any doubt? No? Okay.
Okay, so whatever you have given under this administration settings after that root CA install, these parameters are used to generate the CSR, right?
Yes, yes. Because if you saw there, it was showing us the CSR properties.
Correct, correct. Once you set the CSR properties,
So
you have got this
here
domain
was-
name and everything.
Here was the options named as
Correct, correct.
CSR
Set
properties.
CSR properties. Yeah.
Like bit like that. Set CSR.
The moment you clicked on that, we got all these options.
True. 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 Okay, I hope
All
there
right.
should not be any doubt. So now if you go under the configuration and under the certificates, okay, and under the controllers, because it is by default going to the manage, under the controller, you can see that certificate signing request is now created, that is CSR. Your next option is to create an identity certificate. Go to the root CA. I am going to the root CA. And there is a very small command, okay, that is maybe under here only, crypto PKI export. Server PKI. No. Wait for a while. Let me check that command. Okay. That is PKCS maybe. Okay. Not this. Let me open the command quickly. Yeah. So it is crypto PKI server. Let us see. Crypto PKI server PKI and request. I need to request for PKCS10, that is the format over the terminal. Okay. It is saying that, okay, give me this. Can you see this particular thing is stopped over here. Now you need to copy this particular CSR and go to your root server. No, this is my root server and paste this CSR over here. So you can see this is your certificate request which you are pasting. Hit enter and automatically it will grant a certificate. Can you see? Certificate is granted. And this certificate you need to copy and paste from here to here. Just copy it. Go to your this box. Click on this vManage and above install the certificate. Go over here. Press Ctrl V and click on install before that. Before installing that, what things I showed you that you can check the certificate. One thing over the dashboard, there was some error on the dashboard I showed you earlier, right? Second thing, here your certificate was not shown. If I will go to my CLI also, and under CLI, maybe if I will say show certificate install, there is no certificate it is showing. Maybe under the show control local properties, if I will see that, you can see that the serial number is not generated because the certificate is not installed yet. Okay, now let me go ahead and click on install. It will take some time. Okay. it is get scheduled. If everything is fine, it will take some time and it will show you success. Can you see it? Because every parameter is matched, it is showing you success. Now, first of all, go to the dashboard, main dashboard, and here the warning is not there now, right? Am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, yeah.
If you go to the devices, earlier under the controller, it was showing you that this is certificate was not installed. Here you can see it is showing you under the certificate, also under the controllers. If you see the below one, if you see that everything is now okay, and the certificate is also there, certificate number is also there. So everything is now you can able to see. Similarly, if you click on show certificate installed, you can see one certificate is there. Again, if you talk about the certificate properties, you will be going to the detail. You will be able to see what is your OU, what is your organization name. Okay, all of these things you will, the same properties you can see here, right? This property we talked about, right? Then if you go to the show control local properties, here if you see now a serial number is generated. This serial number is very important, guys. It will come when we will be making our data plane up. Okay. Okay, maybe we need to wrap up for today because Pankaj was also in the meeting. So maybe tomorrow we will be starting further. Okay, and we will make our all of control plane up and then data plane up. So far, any doubt you can ask me. No doubt.
No, I think I'm good at least for till now.
Okay. And Kaza, what about my voice today?
It is very clear, man.
Because I used and I purchased another headphone that is
Oh, okay.
especially for this five.
It's absolutely fine.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
why I'm complaining.
Yeah. Okay, then have a very good day, guys.
Catch up
Cheers.
tomorrow.
Yeah, catch up tomorrow. Bye.